like to call this meeting to order. If we can rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if we could take a moment of silence for our fallen military heroes. You may be seated. Kristen, has roll call been taken?
Yes.
I would like to excuse Councilman Tom Hicks
You
of
guys
his
hear?
absence.
Wait, nobody can hear you.
We'll move right in. Can you hear me now? The microphone's on, so.
People in the back are nodding, yes. No?
Oh,
Can you,
okay, I'm just gonna yell then.
Well, I can look at that.
okay, thank you.
We can come up with one. Here, this one works.
It's working better.
Right, I think it's working, I think her voice is real low.
Speak directly in.
I excused Councilman Tom Hicks for his absence. And we'll move right into public comment. Comment number one is Judy Preston.
Judy Preston, 534 Shadow Valley Court. My question is, why are we even having this meeting? Because October 14, 2025, in the meeting, it was stated there was an advisory board as a tool for testing, nothing more. And on February 23rd, there was a motion or a request for a special board, but there was an agreement between everybody that Ellen would keep the mayor informed and stuff, and then they had to go back to Southern Lakes to get information to bring back to the board. That was the thing. Nothing happened. We come back to March 9th, we're gonna repeat this. I don't know what we're repeating. There is no board. There never was a board that I know of, according to what Ellen explained in October 14th meeting, that's old, this is new, but if there was a board need to be needed, she'd have to go to Southern Lakes and discuss about the contract, then bring it back to the council members, okay? The other thing I want to clear up, in one of the meetings, I believe it was February 23rd, there was a motion, basically it couldn't be moved because you can't tell city workers what to do. There was a comment made, it was not addressed to the seniors, it's a false statement. It was said, it's just like if you tell the DPW how many rolls of toilet paper they can have. That's not addressed to any of the seniors. That's it. The other thing I'd like to give Ellen and Tessa a chance to do, rumor is, you pulled people into the office, the seniors, and I guess they didn't like it. But if they didn't like it, I don't hear no complaints about violating their rights. I don't hear anything about this. So, wasting our time on St. Patrick's Day is a bunch of BS. And calling these meetings, you have to have all your information and facts. I showed the video to some of the people that I know. And I found out too, somebody said, well, can you send me an email so I can take it to the board? Well, the emails come. If you listen to the emails that were read, that was the old version. That's obsolete. So, as of right now, from what I understand, there's a meeting once a month, and there's suggestion boxes, What I would like to see, as just my opinion, my suggestion, is maybe Tessa look into asking the board for some money to put a shed up for
Thank you.
storage. For storage.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
then the other thing is,
Thank you.
is,
Thank you.
what was the other thing?
Thank you. Your 3 minutes
To
is up.
make sure
Thank you
that
very
nothing's
much.
moved out of the senior center without talking to seniors.
Thank you.
That's it.
Frank DeCare?
Frank?
Is there a Frank?
Yeah,
Yes.
you're supposed to do it. It's okay.
Okay.
If you're wanting to speak, you gotta go.
Yes.
Do you wanna speak?
I have nothing to speak about.
Okay.
Then you can
Yeah.
say.
Did you turn in a public comment?
He just signed it.
Oh, okay, very good, thank you, I didn't hear that. All right, Darlene Piontek?
Close.
I'm getting better, I hope. Have to wait.
Good evening, my name's Darlene Piontek, 437 Leah Lane, Linden. I guess what I wanna say that there's a lot of lack of communication between the board and the seniors to the board. So, with that being said, the committee, what the lady was just talking about. So we don't have, we get 6 or 8 people to talk to Ellen or talk to Tessa. I realize that on the board of one of the TVs in the card room is running the advertisements for the senior center. And one of them happened to be a committee to talk with Tessa. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but does everybody look at that TV? Is everybody in that room? No. So with that being said, what I'm saying is the people that don't know should know and be informed. What else? Oh, the locked doors. I've been here for 10 years and I've never seen a locked door. Not one with the green little box that you gotta have a key or whatever you use to open it with. I don't know why. Just asking. There's also a donation box. Why is there a donation box? If they're gonna do these things, why don't they explain it to us? Inform us that they're gonna do these things. Or what it's for. What are the donations for? Is it for the building? Is it for the room? What is it for? And the last thing is the billiard table. I have had so many people have said, you've gotten rid of it. People have said, you've sold it. Some people said, you gave it to another, a charity. And somebody said, it's still here. So, where is the doggone thing? And I guess that's about it, other than complaining. Thank you.
Luann Eastlake.
I wrote this out. I don't usually read things, but I'm going to because I know my time is limited. I'm also concerned that the advisory board, excuse me, I'm concerned that an advisory board convened by the director of the LoSI Senior Center, responding to the request of an economic partner, would require so much scrutiny by some council members and especially by the mayor. Such a board is not paid or hired, elected, it's not under contract, it can be let go at any time for no reason. The public was heard and clarifications and explanations were made to them. It is not to be of such a magnitude as to require a special board meeting, understanding that there were some concerns that might have been taken up with Tessa during a regular business day. I understand that there were other concerns reinstating the coffee conversations time in the mornings in lieu of an advisory board. This might allow for the controlled dialogue that some of the council prefers, reinstate the status quo for members of the LoSI Center, and integrate some of the members more closely into the LoSI community. but it reinstates the very thing that kept me from the Losi Center for 18 years. I worked. What good are morning coffee clutches when one is teaching full-time? The greatest population of seniors who do not attend here at Losi are between the ages of 50 and 70. And though I have lived here for 22 years, in your efforts to undermine and keep Tessa from moving forward, you have impeded the very progress that would find ways to reach out into the greater senior population in Linden and find out why they're not coming and what we can do to support them. Advisory councils and coffee town halls can coexist. That seems like a no-brainer to me, even without the SLRP's request for it to do so. It is a wonderful idea. That's why we hire experts. That's why we treat our experts with respect and we let our directors and our managers do what we've entrusted them to do. Frankly, I'm also concerned that there's a little bit of micromanaging going on here. And that it's not really about the validity of a volunteer advisor group at all, but about who gets to pick them. My experience with micromanaging is that for the most part, it's based on not good management, not the constituency, not expertise, but on a spoil system that has no power here in the city of Linden. It should be disconcerting to everyone here that anybody, not the council or the mayor, might wish to fill volunteer positions with their own supporters. In the case of the Losi Senior Center, this is Tessa's right and privilege as its director to choose those who might advise her. And from the moment she dutifully informed this council of her plans, it was actually a no-brainer. And I agree. There should have never been a special council meeting called.
Thank you. Road EDs.
These microphones really work. Put your face up to them. I'm Roby Dees, 506 North Bridge Street. I've heard some comments already that are on my list. I believe that this is a necessary meeting because we get the regular mixed meeting and things don't get done as much. I've got a bunch of stuff on my list, and I know some people are going to say something, so I'm going to go through what's on my list very quickly. Number one is do not sell the pool table, and I know where it is. It's right in there with balls piled on it and chairs piled around it. You can hardly see it. You know where it is? It's there. I saw it. I see it every day, every week, every time I'm here. Okay, I want the art and the carvings and the things that were on display in the hall brought back. They're in some place where nobody can see them. They're here. Where it is, if you go in this room, you can't go in the room. They're there. Okay, they're black and white ink pictures. They're plaques that were on the wall out here honoring the people that have made the history of this place. And I feel that the reason it's not up is because nobody wants to put up anything that recognizes Carl Gabrielson as a director of this center. That's my opinion. Where did the quilting frame go? Is it stored someplace? Where are the wood carvers? Where's the wood carver's cabinet? I had $500 worth of tools and patterns in it. And then I'm getting around to the question that I asked when I was on the board once a month for about 7 years. What does the city plan to do with this property and this building? And it's in the minutes, and I have them. I have the minutes. You can look at it if you want to, but I've never gotten an answer from the representatives of the city who were on that board. And it has become apparent to me that the city didn't get this place to, maybe they had in mind making a better senior center. The roof was leaking, fix the roof. But their main goal was not the building, not the seniors, but the land. There's a plan somewhere about this land. And it'll show up maybe after I'm gone, but I believe that the city has plans. Now, I think this is an important meeting. I'm a person who, I say what I think, and I think a heck of a lot. I've been thinking all my life, and I think that you should appreciate that woman more than she's appreciated. She's trying to do something that you disagree with. She's trying to get something done for the senior center and for the city. And I don't think she's getting the respect that she deserves. Done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One ID is 506 North Bridge Street in Linden. About a year ago, I suggested that a committee of LOSI members be appointed in order to give input to the city what kind of programs we wanted and what we wanted done with our facility. But somehow this evolved into a board with suggestion that elected officials be on it, and someone from the Southern Lakes Parks and Recreation. Well, I'm against that. And so I guess I have to back off and say, definitely a board is not a good idea. And it appears as though we can't have a little committee of LOSI members, just people that are approachable, that people can go to and say, I'd like to see this. So I have a different proposal. I support trying to have a monthly meeting for members at LOSI. Also, we should have the suggestion box back in the hallway so people can put their suggestions in it. I also suggest that members be given an opportunity to fill out a survey of activities that we want. It could be in a newsletter, or it could be available by the check-in computers. Also, about the pool table. Men want and need the use of the pool table. I looked at our calendar for March. The only activity primarily appealing to and attended by men was 3 sessions of wood carving. In March, there were 17 activity sessions primarily appealing to and attended by women. Now, if you don't believe this, I have the calendar here, and I have marked those. Usually, there are 4 carving sessions, and one of them was canceled this month, so there were only 3. I think it's very unfair that we're not doing enough for the men. Men have social problems after they're widowed, a whole lot more than women do. Men tend to become very isolated. Depression is a real problem. Suicide rate among men past 65 is the highest age group for suicide in the United States. Now, as a senior center, we're supposed to be supporting and helping all of our seniors, not just the women primarily. And so I would like to see some changes around here. We need to have more activities that men enjoy and will come to. We need to have opportunities for men to sit around a table, maybe play poker or whatever they play, and talk to each other, because that's what they need.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Monica Larner.
Monica Larner. I live in Linden. So I want to thank thank you for the opportunity to let us voice our opinions today. So I voiced public comment back the end of February, never heard a word back. However, certain residents were called in and invited for a face-to-face. So I don't know what that means. So the title of the LOCI Director of Senior Services and Community Engagement, so there seems to be two titles here. I'm assuming the community engagement is ensuring that services and projects meet the actual needs of our seniors. I don't believe that the director is doing this because we don't have transparency. Concerning the advisory board, if it would, most boards, and I am on one board, I had to put in an application and I had to be approved. And this advisory board, it sounded like there was invitations sent out that the city council didn't even know about. So I don't understand the double standard there. It seems like it was almost like the historical special committee, that was a big secret, and so that's not right. So I feel that the city council should have been considered to be the board all along, and I don't know why we stopped. I don't know why we stopped having the 6 to 6:30 meeting in conjunction with the regular city council meeting. That ended in April of 2025. And if we want to go back to the October meeting, in that meeting, it was said by the city manager that Tessa is in charge and she's not answerable to anybody. When, you know, the city council should have been recognized as overseeing things. In October, for instance, there was an order put in for a van. Okay, that's a little more expensive than toilet paper. And that should have been something that was discussed at the meeting. Why wasn't it? So I see the senior center just turning into a community center. We already have a community center.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to public comment on the LOCI Center? If you would come up to the microphone, please.
Well, I'm really not that kind of person to come up here. I just hope that, I mean, I feel bad that you get a bad rap sometimes, but you should have seniors on your board. We're the ones that are here and doing it every day. And I just hope everybody's listening. Because for the men, you know, I'm not but it's true. I was a nurse for 45 years. They're depressed and they have nowhere to go and nothing to do. So you take their only, you're in that stupid pool room all the time. They loved it. So that's all I have to say. I just hope you listen.
And sir?
My name is Ed Evers, live out in 700 Beach Buggy Lane, excuse me. As I sit here and I listen to all the topics come up, to me it sounds like the city got involved when they probably should have just left it alone. And maybe there's a hidden agenda, because what I hear is nothing, you know, from what the big plan, grandiose plan is. So my concern is let the people have it back. You do your job and let them do theirs.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
My name's Diane Shorters. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I always ask that simply because I sit out there and can't hear most of what people are saying because they're either too close like this or too far away. Can't hear a thing, so nothing can change. No answers come up because I don't hear what's going on, and I know I'm not the only one. I've been asked by somebody else, having been here for many years, if there is going to be an addition, if there's a planned addition to be put onto the building at this time. Is there an answer for that now?
So we are not allowed to answer questions
Oh,
during the public comment time. And then
Okay.
as soon as it's over, after everyone has public commented, then at that point, typically the city manager
Mhm.
or Tessa in this case, either one, will be able to answer the questions.
Okay,
So it's
thank
not,
you.
we're not trying to be rude.
okay, thank you. Two other things, one being the pool table. I know it's been brought up a couple of times already. I heard from a different source that a specific place is expecting to get that pool table. And I was here when there was a gentleman from SLRP to move the pool table out of here. I think that's really a bad idea, simply because there are men here who like to play pool. And here it's open to the public, where it was, quote, supposedly going, was going to be for the people there, but there's a few who can still play because they're elderly, very elderly. So the fact that it's under boxes in that room, and we lost 2 rooms with the construction. So now there just doesn't seem to be anywhere for it, which is crazy, because that is one of the things that the men enjoy doing here. Younger men play pickleball, some men play cards, some men carve, but there's, that pool table should stay in this building, in my opinion. Find a place for it, or take one of the 2 rooms that can be split up and put it in a corner there where there's just enough room to play, and the room can still be used for other things. The third thing is, I'm aware that a friend of mine donated one of the TVs that's in the eating room, my dining room, what it's called. There are 3 TVs in the dining room. There are no TVs anywhere else. I don't know specifically where they would be needed, but certainly 3 in one room is unnecessary when it should be serving everyone who comes into the building. One of them should be. And last but not least, I would like to just reiterate something that somebody said at the last meeting, and that is that apparently there are, I want to say relics, but that's not what they are. There were carvings, there were paintings, there were various personal things that people had done here at the center. And our walls are still bare.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's part of the history.
Thank you.
Okay, that is part of our history, so please have them brought out so we can all see them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Suki. For someone who doesn't like to speak, this is the 3rd meeting I've been at to speak at, and it seems like the same things are being rehashed. It needs to be communicated, and 2-way communication, in order for anything to be accomplished and move forward. And so there's no pushback from what you guys are trying to do. And where do you get the meeting minutes from these meetings? Where can you find them? Are they posted anywhere? Where nobody knows, I've not been able to find anybody who knows where to get that, to know what kind of things have been discussed, what kind of things are being thought of to kind of help move us forward. And so we don't keep having the same complaints over and over again. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further public comment? Anyone else that wishes to public comment?
Okay.
Seeing none, Ellen, would you like to answer, or Tessa?
Do you want to touch on any of the ones that are right now? If not, do you want to touch? Do you have anything that you want to touch on right now?
Like the pool table is still here, as Roby mentioned. The art carvings, they're still here. They're in the room over where Ann's office was, which was historically where the art was displayed prior to the city coming on. The quilting frame, the quilters communicated to us that they no longer want it, and so someone from the group took it and is taking it to their other quilting group elsewhere. The wood carving cabinet, I don't remember ever seeing a wood carving cabinet. I think Gwen's in the audience. Well, since I've been down here, I haven't seen it.
Wood's taken away. I have a whole lot of wood carving stuff at my house, simply because I wasn't just let it, I wasn't willing to let it throw it in the garbage.
First of all, maybe just direct your comments this way and not outward, please.
Okay. Wood carving cabinets, I haven't seen. The city property, I don't have anything on that. I'm just going through, hold on. The survey from Ramona's comments, previously we did a survey, and that's also in the Southern Lakes Agreement that we previously approved to do it once a year. The last one was in April, and I'm just working on trying to get that restarted again. The 3 sessions of the wood carving and the 17 other sessions, the men are welcome to come to the 17 other sessions. There's also men in the strength and balance. There's men in all these other ones. I guess I'm not sure why men don't. Anyways,
They're not going to make
enough. We do have men sitting around tables in the morning watching TV at the larger TV. The 3 TVs, one is with the Wii that people can play. The other one people are watching TV at, and then, like as mentioned before about the ads on the other one. I think that was all of them.
I try to pick up any that I can. So the city or the senior center puts out a newsletter. We do print flyers, and the TVs are a new mechanism that we added to kind of scroll through different things that are happening at the senior center. So there are other platforms where we're getting information out there. The door locks, this system existed when the city took this on, so I'm
I
not
think you're talking about the door lock on the pool table.
That's always been there.
It's always been there?
It's always been there, so I'm not sure, I'll have to follow up on that. The donation box was something that, we get a lot of people that come to the front window and kind of just toss money at our staff, and the donation box was a mechanism for them to be able to place it in there and put their wishes on what they would like to see the donations go to. And then I don't think there was anything more than that. There was really no, I mean, we get a lot of people wanting to make just a donation, whether it be $1, whether it be $2, $5, whatever it is, for various things, just because they're appreciative of the things that go on here and just want to see them continue. So that was the reasoning for the donation box. Charter Senior Living, for some reason, reached out to us after one of the last meetings. We do think one of the members here is a resident over there. And they reached out to us to see if they could partner with us on the pool table. The pool table's still in there. We have no intention of selling the pool table. We're not sure where that information has been, why that's been circulating that way. But they were just reaching out as kind of a partner. They partner with the senior center on a lot of different things, and they just offered that up as a potential solution. I think you already touched on the art and all of those things. The survey you touched on. If there's anything else that we need to follow up on, we certainly can.
Where can we put the pool?
So the minutes, any of the packets, all of that stuff is posted on the city website. I will also, is it on LOCI's as well? Do we post that, or it's just city website? So there's a link. there's a link on the city website. So any information pertaining to Tessa's department reports, anything upcoming, anything that would be necessary for us to be discussing is in those packets. The minutes are posted there. I think that's all I have to address right now. If there's anything that will require any follow-up, I'll make sure to, between Tessa and I, will make sure to follow up with that, so.
All right. So we are going to move on to the discussion item, which is the LoC Senior Center Advisory Board. Can everyone in the back hear me okay? Good evening. I called this special meeting pursuant to the City of Linden Charter to address the proposal to establish an advisory board for the LoC Center. First, let me make myself abundantly clear. I do not support the creation of an advisory board for the LoC Center. As the advisory board has been described, it would lack the transparency that I believe is necessary when discussing the operation and programming of a public facility. Since 1996, the LoC Center has existed to serve the senior community in Linden. As proposed, there is no requirement for board members to be part of the senior community or to be a regular attendee. I believe the voices guiding the future of this center should come directly from the seniors who use and depend on it. Southern Lakes Parks and Rec, who encourage the introduction of new programming, is also directly involved to keep city support and funding. Direct engagement with our seniors will help generate ideas for new programs that meet their needs, not by only engaging with a non-transparent advisory board, comprised of individuals who are not part of the affected demographics. Furthermore, this type of board would not be required to keep minutes, operate under the Michigan Open Meetings Act, or provide an opportunity for public comment. For these reasons, I believe a more transparent and inclusive approach would be beneficial. Rather than establishing an advisory board, I would recommend the city host open coffee time or town hall style meetings for Linden seniors to gather input on programming, services, and the use of the LoC Center. These meetings should be open to all seniors and provide an opportunity for discussion and feedback. At this time, I would kindly ask council to consider whether it would like to provide direction to staff to pursue this approach in place of creating an advisory board. Thank you. And we will now move to discussion with council members. Councilwoman Simons.
So I'm the vice chair of Southern Lakes Parks and Rec, and from their perspective, they're in if there is a board. If there's not a board, they're okay with that too. This council still has their support. So yes, I'm in favor. I like what you wrote, and I'm in favor of that open communication with the people who actually use the center.
Thank you. Councilwoman Howe.
I like that what Tessa's been doing so far with coffee with Tessa. And maybe switch up the times that you have the meeting, because that would allow for people to, who are work, can come in later. And so maybe offer some coffee with Tessa a little later in the day, or maybe a little earlier in the day, but mix it up a bit. That way someone like me who works 8 to 5 can come after work. I like the fact that, LoC serves the entire Genesee County, not just because we get public funding for LoC. And so maybe it's not a bad idea to maybe meet occasionally with others that aren't LoC here to find out what the county's looking for, or maybe there's a niche we could fill and get some money for. There's other senior activities around the county, and maybe there's some funding for special events. Anyway, but I think first and foremost, I really support what Tessa's doing already. I have not heard any complaints, and it's a nice and friendly approach. And if there isn't a suggestion box, maybe put up a board or something. But anyway, that's all I have.
Councilwoman Miller.
Well, I'm sure everyone can hear me. So let me start. Pool table, the statistics say that men whose wives die before them, they normally die within 1 year. I know my grandparents died within 29 days apart. And it's a huge thing. So if we can give, and I come in here, and these guys, I see wood carving, I look at Roby, I can't envision him being on a yoga ball and taking drumsticks to it. It's something that we really need. We need to invest in these men. They need to be sharp. They need to be able to do handwork. They might not be able to use those walkers and go back and forth to do exercise. That might not be them. My husband would never do it. Lockbox, just talked to Ellen about, from what I understand, it's always been on that door. I'm not sure. Donation box, I have no problem with it as long as it's accounted for and where it goes. I think as far as having notification, it should go on the front door when this coffee time is, and I do believe that should be during the day and at night for those who work at night. This is for people that are from 50 to whatever, the golden. And nighttime meetings are a must. I mean, we do stay up past 5. And who are the experts? You know, I look at you guys that are older than me and look at you of what you want, you know? And I'm sure it's different than somebody that is still working, because you guys have the time to come in during the day. The wood carver tools, ma'am, I know I see you out there and your wood carving, and I don't know where your tools are. I believe that we'll try to find them if they are out there. I believe there should be a group of seniors that just can group together in a room. It doesn't have to be formal. You guys can talk. You guys can put suggestions in. Come to the city council meetings, you know, mention what you want. You know, maybe, and I can tell you, Tessa, Dottie, and the group, which I absolutely love, because I can call up here, and I know you guys all respect. The advisory board, I kept thinking, what can it do, really? Because there wasn't gonna be no meetings, no minutes of the meetings, it's not gonna be open to the public. So I just think that we would have a better time with you guys, you know, coffee with Tessa and Dottie and the group, you know, once a month. Make it the second Wednesday of every month, you know? And then maybe the night class or the night session could be at another night, or do them both. As far as minutes, I know that most of the meetings we have are on YouTube or are recorded in the city, on the city website. Nighttime activities. I went to Pat Lockwood at the expo, and I actually seen her at CapCon, class we went to, and she is all for. So that's Southern Lakes Parks and Rec, and she's all for the nighttime classes, or even nonprofits, maybe churches come in and do something like we've been doing for a couple of years here, and that's the soup night. And we serve over 200 bowls of soup for free. It doesn't cost anybody. And I can tell you, the people that come, we do trivia, we do all kinds of stuff. And the smiles that we get, and that's all nonprofit work. It doesn't take a lot. So I'm gonna request that maybe, I know Tessa and I will help if we can, or anyone. Give her ideas of some nonprofits that would like to come in, or some churches that like to come in and play cards, have pizza night with the movie. There's nonprofits out there that can help. So that's all I have to say. God bless you all that came out tonight.
Councilman Dick.
Thank you all for coming out tonight. Obviously, it's important to us, it's important to you, because you're here. We appreciate that. The whole reason we're here is a misunderstanding in a contract. It was interpreted wrong. Language has been in the Southern Lakes contract for years that says advisory committee. We, as the new board, but we're not the board for this building, as a signing agency, as a city, we gave it to Tessa, we misinterpreted it. There is no advisory committee. Southern Lakes didn't form it. We haven't, as a city council, approved a committee. There isn't one. Because the only way we can approve a committee sitting up here is if it's part of the contract. We cannot give Tessa direction in how to run the LoC Center. We can give it to Ellen, and she can give it to Tessa, but as a city councilor, as a city council, we cannot direct an individual department. So we can provide and get your feedback, but it's actually much, much better and more effective if you're talking to Tessa and Gwen and Dottie and things like that. If, we decide that there needs to be an addition to the building or things like that, then we can all come to council and we can work on a way to do that. But right now, there isn't a committee. I don't believe we're even we can't vote on not having a committee because there isn't one. So I'm not quite sure why we're here actually. Because we took in comments and we appreciate that, but tonight's meeting is for an advisory board. And it concerns only the advisory board. And by charter, only thing we can work on and discuss is the advisory board, of which there isn't one.
Councilman Link?
Yeah, regarding space, I believe that the pool table was moved where it was because of lack of space. It was brought up in a meeting that, that we have a storage unit, right? Maybe the yoga balls and the other items in that room, if we get a storage unit that we could put it in, something we could look into anyway, of finding some additional storage so that people could get back to playing the pool table. It does seem like a lot of people want to play it. It's free. We have it. It doesn't cost the city anything. So I think the biggest thing is that the members of LoC need to be the drivers of what's happening at LoC. And by the addition of this lunch with Tessa, or coffee with Tessa, whatever it's called, I think that's a great idea. I think it needs to be done in the morning. I think it needs to be done also for those that work in the evenings. There's been discussion of opening up LoC for more evening events like it was in the past, and I think that needs to be done. Because there are a lot of people out there that are of age to be members of LoC that work during the day and cannot attend the classes, the events that are happening during the day. Opening that up to a whole nother group of people that could come in the evening will increase the number of people coming here, and it'll increase the satisfaction of those individuals. That's probably, it's got to be a reason they don't come because it's not open when they're off work. I think the implementing of this coffee with Tessa is creating the correct chain of command, prior military. I follow that. If you have issues, it should be Tessa that's going to be answering those issues. If those aren't getting answered, then you go to Ellen, and then after Ellen, then it comes to the council. But I think it needs to go through Tessa and give her that opportunity to satisfy you guys on what you want to see and what events you want to have here at LoC. So, let's look into storage, and the members need to be the primary driving force, whether there's an advisory committee or 10 advisory committees. The members should be driving the direction of LoC. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just going to clarify a couple things as to why we're here. When I called the special meeting, it says, the purpose of this meeting is to discuss matters related to the LoC Center and Advisory Board. So it's a twofer,
That's not what the agenda says though.
but that's what my letter says. The second reason is because in the February meeting, it was talked about that it was the postponement of the advisory to discuss the agreement on March 9th. There was at 34:05 in the special video that was created, clarification that the advisory board has been paused following the previous meeting's discussion. And so postponed and paused, I mean, it's still a possibility. And everything that I have heard in this body, this was not what we as a council, nor what I'm hearing that most residents want. Most residents want the coffee time, and so I want to make sure if we don't have to have this, okay, that we don't have this. And the only way to know we're not having it is in fact to say we don't want it as a body. That's why I called this meeting, back in February, actually. So, I'm gonna ask the city attorney, are we allowed to vote on this item? Or is that not allowed?
Is the question, are you allowed to vote on whether or not you have an advisory committee? Sure.
That's what I need to do, thank you.
What?
So is there a motion? If not, I will make one. To have the town hall style. Does anyone want to make a motion?
I will make a motion that we follow with the town hall style as been already introduced by Tessa.
Is there a second?
Support.
And Mayor, one question. We can't do that. We can't direct the department to.
We're directing Ellen.
But we're making a motion. Mike?
So
We can vote down, we can vote not to have an advisory committee as part of the contract.
I interpret that motion to be not having an advisory committee, and to simply have that informal arrangement in lieu of it. And I understand the concern, and I share that concern. I wouldn't want to see council next month direct her to, purchase 10 rolls of toilet paper or something like that. But that's not how I interpret this motion.
Okay, how about if I reword this? I apologize. So how about if I make a motion that we disregard the LoC Senior Center Advisory Board in favor of continuing with Tessa's informal coffee with Tessa to provide information on the needs of the seniors and the community for what they would like to see for the LoC Board, or LoC Center, sorry.
Ma'am, may I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Just make a motion not to have an advisory board.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to make it.
No, I understand, and I think if that's the motion,
Yeah.
then Tessa and
Okay.
Ellen have heard what you want.
All right, I apologize. I make a motion that we do not approve a LoC Senior Center Advisory Board.
Support.
Is it an all in favor or a roll call?
I think we should do roll call.
Okay. Very good.
Dick?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Hicks? Oh, sorry. Simons?
Yes.
Lane?
Yes.
Armstrong?
Yes.
Howard?
Yes.
Is there any other business that this board would like to take up?
No, I'd like to call the question.
Well, they've already.
Done.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
let me
voted.
call
Is there a
the question to
motion?
adjourn.
Is there a motion?
Motion
to
to adjourn?
Yes. Motion to adjourn.
Is there a support?
Support.
All in favor? Aye. This meeting is called adjourned, 7:24.